So Liverpool Football Club win the Premier League the other day and proceed to have their parade through the city of Liverpool. Horrendous footage starts to come out of a car ploughing through crowds of people, women, men, children. Absolutely disgusting, vile images. And everyone collectively thinks the exact same thing, right? Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar! Now this whole horrific event has turned into a political argument between left-right dichotomous people that are extremists on the internet. You have people sharing content, people questioning content. I think it's unfair for people to be of a critical mind, saying that you have your typical conspiracy theorists online just going after what we all thought it would be. And we're going to have a look at that. Before we do, if you can do me a favor, like the video, subscribe, share, I'd really appreciate that. So yeah, let's jump into it and have a little look. What was extremely noticeable about this event was that within minutes, I would say, we had the police coming out saying that it was a 53-year-old white British man that had been arrested. And I think that that was an important statement in terms of it was the first time we had ever seen that. We never get told the identity or the ethnicity of a perpetrator of one of these heinous acts by the police because we know who it is normally. We don't need to be told, right? Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar! And when you see news headlines like this, woman jailed for race hate post on X loses appeal, it does make you question whether you should just go on your instincts and the empirical data that is there for us to literally just type in and get an absolute result right away. Lucy Connolly called for mass deportation and hotel housing migrants to be set on fire on a social media account. This came after 10 children were injured and 3 lost their lives at the hands of a migrant, which was hidden by the media very perniciously and very premeditatedly. The harshest sentence was handed down to a British woman that didn't like that and actually pushed back in it and said on Twitter or on social media what everyone else was saying behind closed doors. And this is something that terrifies the establishment. That's why we have hate speech bills being passed left, right and centre in the Western world. So we have the footage of what transpired in Liverpool, and it looks like some sort of erratic action of a driver, and he does go through a crowd and people are horrifically injured, and it's shocking footage. But as I said, you cannot blame people or call them grifters for going to the empirical data, which I did when I pulled up the stats. I went over and I asked Grok how many such incidents has happened in Europe where cars were used to be propelled through crowds of people that were predominantly white, were propelled by a certain ethnicity. The exact number of vehicle ramming attacks in Europe vary by source and definition, but available data suggests that there was 46 to 50 such incidents from 2014 to May 2025. Okay, so we're talking a 10/11 year period, and we have 50 such incidents of cars ploughing through crowds of European people. This documents very well the perpetrators of these heinous acts. You can read through them yourself. I can leave them up there. You can go and Google it or put it into Grok yourself. The numbers are crazy. Nice, France, 2016, 86 people lost their lives. Berlin, 12. Barcelona, 13. The UK, multiple different incidents, including one that 8 people lost their lives in. What's the common denominator here? It is that all of them are of Islamic motives. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar! So I don't think you're being a grifter when you jump to this conclusion, when we've had 50 such incidents. Low ball as well. Low ball, to be honest. 50 such incidents in Europe, majoritively of Islamic motive and intent. So that's how people jumped to that conclusion. That brings us to the identity of the 53-year-old white man. We've all seen the footage. We've all seen the pictures. Does the guy look like a 53-year-old white guy? No, he doesn't. He honestly doesn't. He also doesn't necessarily look like one of these Muslim lads. He doesn't look like that either. But where the bone of contention seems to be with people and why people are talking about this incident and why there's conspiracy theories flying around online is because of the strange behaviour of the police. First of all, to come out within minutes and say that it's a 53-year-old white guy. Who does that? That has never happened in any of these incidents. In fact, they hide the identity. So is there going to be a precedent set going forward? Keir Starmer was asked about this. And again, he capitulated and procrastinated and just deflected the question completely.
In this case, the police named the ethnicity and nationality of the person arrested in association with the incident. Is this what you want to see in future in similar cases?
Well, that is a matter for the police, and the investigation is ongoing, so I think we need to leave that to them. I think today is a day really for thinking about all those impacted by this, and being absolutely clear that we stand with them.
Complete deflection tactics, didn't answer the question. Is this what you want to see going forward in terms of a precedent where one of these heinous attacks happens and we get to know the identity of the person right away and you don't actually hide it for 3 or 4 days talking about a British altar boy and bullshit like that? Is that going to be the precedent going forward? Absolutely not. Deflected the question. Fine. You also have the wording, which is kind of strange and sinister in terms of Merseyside police say that a 53-year-old white British man has been arrested after a car drove into pedestrians on Water Street in Liverpool. Highlighted here and circled is the fact that the police follow up the statement of the British man being arrested with police did not say whether the man is the suspected driver and warned people not to speculate on the circumstances surrounding this incident. So again, you're being told what to do by the long arm of the government. The police force are telling you don't speculate, don't talk about it, and definitely don't put it up online because you could end up in prison. The police say that they do not know whether the man is the suspected driver. There is footage of what looks like bystanders intervening, attacking the car that ploughed through all these people. And of course the police would be beating these people to the ground, as they do. So you see this grey-haired older guy who looks like he's in his 50s and the police are beating him to the ground because he's trying to protect British people, and the actual police force do the opposite of that. Is he the 53-year-old British man that was arrested? Because that's what they just put out. That was the statement. They never said that the 53-year-old white British man has been arrested because he drove a car through pedestrians. They didn't say that. So that's very interesting the way it's worded. You also have videos of snipers and people leaving the parade before anything happened because they spotted these lads up on top of a building and were thinking, okay, that's a little bit strange and doesn't really fit into a celebration day for a football club. Something strange is going to happen here. So they leave before anything happens. There's videos of that out there as well.
We're leaving because I have a gut feeling. What are we saying, boys? Something's going to kick off like a terrorist attack or something, because we've seen all the little snipers.
So there you have some influencer lads that left the parade early because they had a gut feeling. They saw snipers on the roof. Here's the video of the actual sharpshooters up on the roof. Bizarre. We can see that this definitely correlates with the timeline. It looks like it's after the parade maybe. What exactly are they doing up there? Is this a reaction by the police after the incident happened and they got sharpshooters up there? Because if it is, why did the influencer lad leave during the parade? Because he saw them up there. Of course, when you go and you look this up, this is apparently a conspiracy theory. These snipers weren't there. What you saw there in that footage isn't real. And as I said, definitely don't put it out on social media because you could end up in prison. You also have these communist Marxist lunatics like Jackson Hinkle putting out Liverpool fans stand with Palestine, and you just see this like barrage of Palestinian flags, which doesn't bode well for the grifters who thought that maybe this was perpetrated by lads of that particular persuasion. And you see just an army of flags out there. Like, again, I thought that was an interesting little tidbit right in the middle of all this. This picture, of course, is everywhere. 53-year-old British man, my ass. Can't be older than 30. Chances are he isn't even British. I'm not going to make them assumptions. He doesn't look like he's 53, but he might be one of them Love Island type of guys. You know, he's got the turkey teeth and he's got the hair transplant and he's all tanned up. He might be one of them 53-year-old lads. There's a bunch of them floating around as well. They're usually sipping coffees whilst perpetuating woke talking points and things like that. Maybe it was him. Maybe the story is true. Maybe his wife saw him online and was like, that's the family car. He's got 3 kids. He's a family man. They can't release his name. Nobody knows what's going to happen. It'll be very interesting to see in the coming days whether we get a name, whether we get a different picture of this 53-year-old guy, or whether it was all deflection by the police to stop people from talking about mass deportations. Maybe it was another tactic like that. Let me know what you think it was down below, and maybe hit like, subscribe and share if any of it made sense. Cheers.